"They think our spirit can be extinguished like a dying star," whispered Commander Elara Trent, her voice a sharp edge in the hushed command chamber. The vast holographic display in the center of the room showed the twin alien armadas, hovering ominously on the fringes of Earth's orbital defenses. The year was 3700 in the galactic chronosphere of Arion, an era defined by humanity's unmatched ingenuity and resilience. Yet even the finest technologies couldn't erase the primal chill that rippled through those watching the screen. The Kehlak and the Drav'kai, two alien civilizations long thought incapable of alliance, now shared a single purpose: the subjugation of Earth. Their ultimatum had arrived in a stark, emotionless transmission. Surrender your weapons, disarm your planetary defenses, and kneel before our dominion, or face extinction. No explanation, no offer of negotiation, just the cold certainty of annihilation. Why had these two ancient enemies united? What could drive such disparate species, known for centuries of mutual loathing, to collaborate against Earth? The answer was both a warning and a testament. Humanity had become too strong, too inventive, too unpredictable. The twin fleets now saw Earth as a singular threat to the balance of power in the galaxy. The response from the Terran Defense Coalition was swift. "Submission," Elara declared, her gaze piercing the silent council gathered around her, "is not an option. Our advancements were forged for moments like this." Humanity's orbital rings gleamed, armed with weapons powered by quantum singularities. Entire continents shimmered beneath protective barriers of energy fields so impenetrable they were said to defy physics itself. Still, beneath the veneer of confidence, the question lingered: could humanity withstand two of the galaxy's most fearsome empires united against them? "Yes," Elara whispered to herself, "because we always have." As the countdown to the alien fleet's arrival began, the room fell into a tense, determined silence. Humanity's response would not be submission, but survival. The twin alien fleets moved in perfect synchrony, their dark vessels resembling an ominous tide creeping closer to Earth's defenses. The Kehlak, a race of crystalline beings with minds forged for calculation, had provided the strategic genius behind the invasion. Their ships, angular and glimmering with sharp edges, carried weapons capable of slicing through most known materials. The Drav'kai, however, were the muscle of the operation. Massive reptilian creatures bred for war. Their brute strength was matched only by the raw power of their organic warships, living entities wrapped in layers of bio-armor. Together, these two ancient enemies had cast aside their hatred for one another, united by a singular belief: humanity had become too dangerous to be left unchecked. In the War Command Center on Earth, Commander Elara Trent studied the incoming trajectories. Every calculated move the alien fleets made seemed to push humanity closer to a defensive posture. "They're not rushing in blindly," she muttered, her voice tight with tension. "This is precision warfare. They want us to waste resources before they deliver the killing blow." Admiral Kyle Brandt, her second-in-command, frowned as he reviewed the schematics of the alien ships. "They think they know everything about us, but they don't understand how far we'll go to defend our home." Elara's gaze shifted to the hologram of Earth, surrounded by its network of orbital defense stations and the massive quantum shield array, a human invention that had defied galactic physics for decades. But even with these advancements, they were outnumbered. For every Terran ship in orbit, the aliens had 5. "The first line will hold," Elara said, her tone firm, though doubt gnawed at her. "But we need a contingency." She tapped the holographic interface, revealing a concealed fleet stationed on the far side of the moon. "If they break through, we'll lure them into the Helios trap." The room grew silent. Every eye turned to her. They all knew the stakes. Humanity's survival depended not just on their weapons, but on outsmarting an enemy that thought it had already won. As the battle for Earth intensifies, the stakes have never been higher. Will humanity's ingenuity and resilience be enough to withstand the Kehlak and Drav'kai alliance? Stick around to witness the ultimate clash of strategy and survival. And while you're here, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel to support more stories like this. Every click helps us bring these epic tales to life. The first strike came without warning. Kehlak ships materialized out of hyperspace near the outer defense stations, their crystalline hulls refracting light in a mesmerizing display before unleashing beams of energy that burned through the void. The orbital turrets fired back in synchronized bursts, but the aliens' precision was unnerving. Within minutes, 3 key stations were reduced to debris, spiraling toward Earth's atmosphere. Elara Trent stood rigid in the command chamber as reports flooded in. Station C9 has fallen. D12 is requesting immediate reinforcement, shouted an officer, panic creeping into his voice. Redirect support from Sector Gamma, Elara commanded, her tone cutting through the chaos. And deploy the countermeasures now. Let's see how they handle a taste of Earth's ingenuity. Moments later, swarms of Terran drones launched from concealed platforms in low orbit. Unlike traditional fighters, these drones moved unpredictably. Their advanced AI designed to outmaneuver even the most sophisticated targeting systems. The Kehlak ships faltered for the first time, their precise formations disrupted as the drones tore through their ranks. But the victory was short-lived. From the far side of the battlefield, the Drav'kai entered the fray. Their living warships absorbed hits from Earth's plasma cannons with ease, their bioarmor regenerating faster than it could be destroyed. One massive ship lunged forward, its organic tendrils wrapping around a Terran defense station, crushing it like an insect. Admiral Kyle Brandt cursed under his breath. They're testing us. The Kehlak destabilize and the Drav'kai crush what's left. It's a perfect strategy. Elara clenched her fists, her mind racing. She knew they couldn't afford to lose momentum. Activate the Helios trap, she ordered. A ripple of energy erupted near the moon's shadow. Hidden stations came to life, projecting an artificial gravitational pull strong enough to destabilize anything caught in its field. Several Drav'kai ships were immediately drawn into the trap, their warships tearing apart under the strain. The room erupted in cheers, but Elara didn't smile. This was only the beginning, and she knew the worst was yet to come. The brief victory was a flicker of light in an encroaching darkness. For every Drav'kai ship torn apart by the Helios trap, 2 more emerged from the shadows, adapting to Earth's tactics. The Kehlak, calculating as ever, shifted their fleet's formation, rerouting their assault to avoid the gravitational anomaly. In the command center, Commander Elara Trent scanned the battlefield. The holographic display showed red markers flooding the outer layers of Earth's orbital defenses. "They're learning too fast," she muttered, frustration lacing her words. Admiral Kyle Brandt, standing beside her, shook his head. "It's like fighting a hydra. We cut off one head and 2 more take its place." "What's the status of the surface defenses?" A technician responded. "The quantum shield array is holding, but their bombardments are intensifying. Ground forces are on high alert. If they breach orbit—" Elara cut him off. "They won't. Not while I'm breathing." She turned to another console, activating the encrypted channel linking her to a team buried deep within the Arctic. "Project Nova, report status." A gruff voice responded, distorted by the secure transmission. "Commander Trent, the prototype is operational, but we need more time to calibrate the firing sequence. If we deploy it now, the risk of catastrophic failure is—" "I didn't ask for excuses, Dr. Venn," Elara snapped. "I need Nova ready. If they break through, it's our last line of defense." On the battlefield, the Drav'kai made their first attempt to breach the quantum shield. One of their largest organic ships emitted a pulse of bioelectric energy, targeting the shield's weakest points. Sparks erupted along the planetary barrier, and for a moment, the power levels dipped dangerously low. "They're testing the shield's limits," Kale said, his face pale. Elara clenched her jaw. "Then we'll give them something else to test." She gestured to the drone controllers. "Launch the second wave. Full offensive. Keep them off balance." As the drones surged forward, their coordinated assault overwhelming a Kehlak battle group, Elara allowed herself a fleeting moment of hope. But deep inside, she knew this was a game of endurance, and the enemy had yet to reveal its full strength. The command center trembled as another wave of Drav'kai biopulses struck the quantum shield. Sparks danced across the holographic display, and the status indicators flickered red. Earth's defenses were holding, but barely. "Elara," Kyle called out, urgency in his voice. "The Drav'kai are coordinating with Kehlak ships to concentrate their fire. If this keeps up, the shield will collapse within the hour." Elara stared at the projections. She knew the enemy's strategy wasn't just brute force, it was attrition. They were wearing Earth down, forcing humanity to stretch its resources to the breaking point. But there was no time for hesitation. "Divert all remaining energy reserves to the shield's core," she ordered, "and signal the lunar fleet. We need a counterattack strong enough to fracture their unity." On the moon's far side, the hidden Terran fleet began its maneuver. Massive warships equipped with plasma lances and gravitic disruptors emerged from their camouflage fields, engines roaring as they prepared to engage. Leading the charge was the Vanguard, Earth's most advanced battlecruiser, bristling with experimental weapons, yet untested in real combat. The alien fleets responded immediately. Kehlak ships recalibrated their formation, focusing on the incoming fleet, while the Drav'kai redirected their monstrous organic vessels to intercept. The void erupted into chaos as Earth's ships clashed with the alien armada. Inside the Vanguard, Captain Rhea Solis gripped the edge of her command console. "Target the Kehlak mothership," she ordered, her voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through her veins. "If we break their chain of command, we disrupt their precision." The Vanguard's plasma lance charged, a brilliant stream of energy tearing through space and striking the crystalline mothership. Fractures rippled across its surface, but it held. Seconds later, a retaliatory blast from the mothership tore into the Vanguard, shaking it violently. Back on Earth, Elara watched the battle unfold on the main display. "They're holding them," Kyle said, but his tone betrayed doubt. "For now," Elara replied, her voice grim. She turned back to the encrypted channel. "Dr. Venn, I need Nova online now, no more delays." The voice on the other end hesitated before responding. "Understood, Commander. Beginning final preparations, but once it's deployed, there's no going back." Elara's jaw tightened. There never was. The lunar fleet's assault had bought Earth precious time, but the cost was steep. Reports of heavy losses filled the command center. The Vanguard continued its charge, but the Kehlak mothership, though damaged, remained a relentless force. "Elara, the shield is at 27% capacity," Kyle reported, his tone grave. "Another coordinated strike on the core, and it's over." Elara clenched her fists. "Shift all orbital platforms to offensive mode. Make them fight for every inch of space." Earth's defenses responded with unmatched ferocity. Gravitonic imploders and quantum torpedoes streaked across the void, detonating in flashes that consumed alien ships. The Drav'kai's living vessels faltered, their bioarmor unable to regenerate fast enough. Kehlak formations fractured as crystalline hulls shattered under the assault. But then the display lit up with new red markers. A second wave of alien reinforcements had arrived. More Drav'kai and Kehlak ships poured into the battlefield, their numbers overwhelming. Kale stared at the screen in disbelief. This isn't an invasion. It's annihilation. They've brought everything. Elara's jaw tightened. They want to break us, but they don't understand what we'll sacrifice to survive. She turned to the encrypted channel. Dr. Venn, is Nova operational? The reply was sharp. Fully operational, Commander. Awaiting your orders. Nova, the ultimate weapon, a quantum destabilizer designed to collapse matter at its core. It was humanity's last resort, a weapon that could tip the scales, but at an unimaginable cost. Kyle's voice broke the tense silence. If we use Nova, the fallout— I'm aware, Elara interrupted, her voice cold. But if we don't, Earth is finished. The room fell quiet as Elara issued the command. Deploy Nova, target the Kehlak mothership. The Arctic facility roared to life, its energy signature spiking as the weapon prepared to fire. Elara stared at the screen, knowing there was no turning back. Humanity's survival now hung by the thinnest thread of hope. The Arctic facility trembled under the immense power of Project Nova. The air crackled with energy as the quantum destabilizer neared activation. In the command center, Elara watched the live feed from the weapon's core, its pulsating glow, casting an eerie light on the faces of the crew. Status? She demanded, her voice sharp. Charging at 85%, a technician replied, beads of sweat forming on his brow. We'll be ready to fire in 2 minutes. 2 minutes felt like an eternity as the battle outside intensified. The quantum shield flickered, barely holding against the relentless assault of the Kehlak and Drav'kai fleets. Ships exploded. In bursts of light, debris raining down through orbit, and yet the alien forces pressed on, undeterred. Suddenly, the holographic display blinked with an incoming transmission. The command center fell silent as the face of a Kehlak emissary appeared, its crystalline features shimmering like fractured glass. Humans! The voice was cold, resonating through the room. You cannot win. Project Nova will not save you. Your weapon may destroy us, but it will destroy your world as well. Surrender now, and you may yet survive. Elara's eyes narrowed. Typical. They're bluffing, Kyle said, but his voice betrayed uncertainty. Are they? Elara muttered. Her gaze flickered to the weapon's live feed. She knew the risks of Nova. The destabilization field could cascade out of control, consuming not just the alien fleets but Earth itself. Commander, Kyle pressed, if we lose control, we'll be no better than them. Elara turned back to the hologram of Earth. Fires burned across continents where debris had fallen, and the cries of the desperate echoed in her mind. We don't have a choice, she said softly. A new alert blared. The Kehlak mothership was moving, its colossal form positioning itself directly over Nova's coordinates. The aliens had realized the threat and were preparing to strike first. Commander, Dr. Venn's voice came over the comm, strained but clear. Nova is at 100%. We're ready to fire. Elara clenched her fists, her heart pounding. Next decision would seal humanity's fate. Prepare for impact, she whispered. The command center was deathly silent as Elara Trent gave the final order. Fire, Nova! A blinding beam of energy erupted from the Arctic facility, cutting through Earth's atmosphere like a spear of light. Space itself seemed to tremble as the quantum destabilizer tore across the void, aimed directly at the Kehlak mothership. The alien ship's crystalline hull fractured under the immense force, its structure rippling as if reality around it was unraveling. At first, there was hope. The mothership began to collapse, its command network faltering as smaller Kehlak ships lost coordination. The Drav'kai warships hesitated, their biolinks severed without the Kehlak's tactical guidance. But then, the unthinkable happened. The energy field from Nova began to spread, its destabilizing effects rippling far beyond the targeted zone. The Kehlak mothership exploded in a brilliant cascade, sending shockwaves through the fleet and toward Earth. "Fallout is expanding," shouted a technician. "It's destabilizing everything in its path." Kyle turned to Elara, panic in his eyes. "The chain reaction, Nova's tearing space apart." Elara's chest tightened. She had known the risks, but this was worse than they'd imagined. The quantum destabilizer was unraveling not just the enemy fleet, but the fabric of reality itself. "Redirect all available power to the planetary shields," Elara barked. "Protect the surface at all costs." Earth's remaining defenses roared to life, forming a shimmering barrier against the incoming shockwave. Cities watched as the sky ignited, fragments of alien ships and pure energy raining down like fire. The quantum shield held, but only barely, its edges flickering as the strain mounted. As the shockwave began to subside, silence returned to the command center. The alien fleets were gone, obliterated by Nova's destructive power. Earth stood battered, but intact. Kyle exhaled, shakily. "We survived." Elara's gaze remained on the display of Earth, its once pristine orbit now a graveyard of debris. "We did," she replied softly, though her voice carried no triumph. In the aftermath, humanity had won, but at a staggering cost. As the dust settled, one thing became clear. Earth had defied extinction once again, but the scars of this battle would remain, etched into history and the very fabric of space. In the end, humanity proved that even against impossible odds we will rise. No matter the cost. But what would you have done in Commander Elara's place? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this journey through the stars, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because the next battle could be closer than you think. Victory demands sacrifice, and in the void of space, only the strongest survive.